Hey guys, and this week's video is going to be all about the importance of form and technique in all your compound lifts. One mistake that new people in the gym often make is they try to go too heavy too fast. This isn't always the best way to go about things, as you should learn how to do the lifts properly and safely before trying to increase weight. In the future, I'll probably end up doing some how-to videos on actually how to execute certain lifts in the gym, especially the big three. This video, however, is just going to be about how I have changed my form and technique over the past year to help me improve technique-wise, strength-wise, and also to execute the lifts in a safe manner. As I'm an aspiring powerlifter, my main concern is with increasing strength in the big three lifts. The first of which would be the squat, and if you've been following me from the start, you'll notice that my squat form has been all over the place. I've had many issues with either my heels coming up, my chest being too low, hips shooting up from the bottom of the lift, and also sometimes not hitting enough depth. So the last 6 months have been me trying to dial in my actual squat form to something that is repeatable and is safe. The biggest change that I've made over the past year or so is my transition from high bar to low bar, because that helps me sit a lot further backwards and keep the weight in the middle of my foot. And also recently I have changed my stance. I had like a shoulder width stance, which I consider was kind of wide, which it wasn't. To now I've gone like 1.5 times my shoulder width, which you'll see here. This allows me to keep my heels down a lot easier and also use a lot more of my posterior chain, like glutes, back, hamstrings, as opposed to my old form, which is just relying mostly on my quads instead, which are a lot weaker than that entire posterior chain. Next out of the big three is bench press, and my bench press form it's actually been okay really, but I always thought that it could be better. Throughout the year I've only really changed 2 things, but those 2 things have actually made a whole lot of a difference on my bench. It feels a lot safer and a lot stronger because of these. The first of which would be now using a lot more leg drive. If you've watched my old videos, you see that my feet kind of dance around and flop around a bit. I've spent the last few months trying to get rid of that and actually use leg drive properly. I did this by I now wear my Olympic lifting shoes because I feel like it's a lot easier to keep my feet on the floor if I've got that extra inch or so on my heel, because it helps me keep my heels down and use leg drive. And I think the main contribution to now being able to do that is consciously thinking about doing it. I used to never really think about it. I was more thinking about pressing the weight, but these days I'm thinking more about driving my feet into the floor, which is in turn causing me some leg drive and to get the bar moving a lot faster and easier. The second big change has been with my grip, my actual bench grip. If you've watched my old videos, my old grip used to be what some of you guys would consider a close grip. It was a thumb's length in from the end of the knurling. That some people are really strong like that, but I felt more comfortable doing it. But it's definitely a close grip bench. It's using a lot more of your triceps and front delts to actually get the weight up, as opposed to my new grip, which I've now moved out probably only about 2 inches, where my pinky is on the power ring. But that allows me to use a lot more chest. So if I can get more muscles involved in the entire lift, I'm obviously going to be able to get stronger in the long run. Last but not least, we are now going to talk about the deadlift. This lift for me has been somewhat of a mess this year. Earlier in the year, I think it was April, I hit 195 kilos, and then ever since then I seem to have gotten weaker somehow with the deadlift. I'm sure that's, well, I'm not even sure, I'm definitely sure that it's a technique issue, because I've gotten stronger in like every other part. Like my back's gotten stronger, my legs have got stronger, but my deadlift has just got straight down. Alright, so I'm going to say that my deadlift is somewhat still a work in progress. The main things that I'm trying to change at the moment is one, if you've seen my old videos, you'll see that I always used to like try and lift the bar with my arms. So instead of deadlifting the bar, I'd be trying to like jerk it, so my elbows would be bending and I'm in danger of either tearing a bicep or I'm just leaking loads of power that way. I'm trying to do that. I'm also trying to get my hips slightly lower, because if you watch my old form, it seems to be like more a stiff leg deadlift than an actual deadlift. That in turn should actually use more of my glutes, more of my quads, and keep my chest up more. Hopefully that will help. It feels kind of weird and I feel a bit weaker at the moment, but in the long run I think that will end up helping me out in, well, yeah, obviously in the deadlift. What else have I changed? My stance, I think I've changed my stance, but I've also gone back and forth between what I think is stronger. I'm not talking about doing sumo and conventional, it's just how wide my actual conventional stance is. I've gone kind of really narrow at some point, and then I've also gone a bit wider, and I still can't really figure out what is best for me, so I'm still playing with that. I'm thinking soon, because I sometimes have an issue with my knees caving in, that I'm going to maybe flare my feet out a bit, so they're a bit like this as opposed to straight forward, and see if that can help alleviate the problem. Otherwise it's probably going to be either a glute weakness or I don't know. If any of you have any advice on fixing knee caving in, that would be much appreciated. Yeah, I can't really help too much with the deadlift because it's been a major issue for me this year. But hopefully I can actually sort that in the near future and then finally hit that elusive 200 kilo deadlift. Anyway, remember guys that form is of utmost importance, and someone with great form is always going to be like better off in the long run than someone who just uses brute force and jerks on the bar, or just like just always practice and hone your technique. It will end up benefiting you a lot more in the long run. Thanks for watching guys anyway. Hopefully this will be a bit more constant and a bit more informative. This is a bit rambly, but you know, first videos back. I'm trying to get used to talking to the actual camera again because it's still a bit weird for me. It's been a while. But yeah, thanks for watching, and I shall see you again soon. Like, subscribe, comment, share, do whatever you want, and I'll see you all next week. Cheers.